Well, the NFL offseason has begun before the Super Bowl's even played. What a trade. I mean, I'm sure everybody just like me was sitting there doing Super Bowl research, eating ramen noodles, and watching John Wick on their Saturday night. And this better be good, guys, because I was halfway through. That movie's awesome. But yeah, Stafford to the Rams, Goff to the Lions, and the Lions also getting a couple of first-round picks and a third-round pick. Adam Azer, Dave Richard, Jamie Eisenberg. Jamie, you're in Tampa getting ready for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Going to be a lot of buzz amongst you and the other media members there. What do you think of this? Deal? Actually, give me the big, if there is one, big fantasy winner here, and then give me your thoughts, and then I'll ask the same from Dave.
The big fantasy winner is Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp. They get a better thrower of the football than Jared Goff. And, I think Stafford's a big winner, obviously. He goes to a system and a team that's clearly going to, I think, enhance his abilities. The Rams give up a lot, though, to get him. Whew.
Yeah.
A lot to get him.
That's what it takes to get rid of that Goff contract, though, because that Goff contract was ugly. And I don't know how much of it they're paying and for the Lions to just take on less of it, or maybe the Lions are taking on all of it, and then they get the first-round picks in 2022 and 23. I think a huge winner is Cam Akers, who was already in a great position to be the lead back for the Rams. But now that they've got Stafford as the signal caller there, defenses are going to have to respect that passing game downfield differently than they did with Goff. And it's going to make things just a little bit easier for Cam Akers, who had been getting a nice workload before. I think he's a clear winner.
This was a really short yardage kind of passing offense, though. If you look at Jared Goff, we go to the Rams here, not the Lions. Jared Goff last year, his intended air yards or his ADOT, whatever you want to call it, 6.6. And that's really, really low. His last 3 seasons, it's
terrible.
0.7, 7.7, 6.6. So they have thrown the ball downfield, but I don't know that they really had that type of wide receiver this year. So I don't know how that meshes with Matthew Stafford. His ADOT the last 3 years has been 6.9, which is really low. Then 10.6 when he was the number 3 quarterback per game in 2019, and last year 8.7, which is still very high, which is the same as Goff 3 seasons ago when they went to the Super Bowl. McVay is very adaptable. But is this a good fit, Dave, for Matthew Stafford?
Yeah, it's a great fit for Matthew Stafford because he's got a lot of weapons to throw to there. He's got an offensive line that's at worst just as good as what he's had in Detroit for the past couple of years, and at best is an improvement. And the Rams could still try and make improvements on that offensive line. And yeah, he loses Kenny Golladay, but he might not have had Kenny Golladay in 2021 anyway, because he could end up changing teams. And I listen, you've got Kupp, you've got Woods. I think Woods is a good downfield threat if he wants to be. You saw Van Jefferson. I think that they can put together enough potent players in that passing game to make Matthew Stafford a capable quarterback in fantasy. And I think you've got to start considering him close to the top 12 among quarterbacks in the coming year because of all the weapons that he's got.
Yeah, Jamie, talk about rankings and where Stafford fits in. Goff will be, I'm sure, much further down, but how about Stafford?
He's not going to be anywhere.
Stafford will be right around, somewhere between 12 and 15. There's a lot to like about the quarterback position. And, you just have to wonder, is this going to be still a run-heavy Rams team? Like Dave alluded to, Cam Akers has put up some good numbers this season, toward the end of the season, and the workload, kind of speaks to the volume speaks to kind of the offense that I think they still want to run. But Stafford is, in a good spot because of the weapons around him, and we'll see. This is pretty incredible. This is from Pro Football Talk about 12 minutes ago from the time of recording this. The last time that the Rams will have used their first round pick was 2016 when they drafted Jared Goff.
Yeah. Yeah. And they don't have another. Schrager was saying before the show, they don't have another first round pick until 2024.
It's amazing.
How does Les Snead still have a job?
I think, they win. That's why.
They do? Okay. I guess they do.
Yeah, they win.
They're in the playoffs. I guess technically that counts.
They are in the playoffs, but they were not a Super Bowl caliber team this year. And it's pretty hard. Maybe getting out of that contract frees up some, space in free agency in the future, but salary cap's going down this year. Stafford's still going to be expensive. I don't know all the money details here, but it's hard to look at them and say they're in prime position to, in my opinion anyway, to be a true Super Bowl contender.
I think they are. Stafford's still legit. you're talking about they had arguably the best defense in the NFL.
Yes.
So
they're a Super Bowl contender.
They lose their defense coordinator. We'll see how much that costs them. The coaching staff continues to have turnover year over year because everybody wants McVay's guys. But when you walk into a situation where you have arguably the best defensive player in the NFL, maybe 2 of the top 5, that gives you a fighting chance on that side of the ball. And now they've upgraded their quarterback position. They can run the ball. They can catch the ball. Can they block? That's going to be the big question. If Whitworth still the same guy, is the rest of the line going to hold up its end of the bargain? So I think, they're pound for pound in the mix. Certainly in the NFC West, which is going to be a loaded division once again when San Francisco gets their guys back. You see what the Cardinals are building. You see what the Seahawks still have. So it's a tough division to get out of. But when you put them up against every other team in that conference, they're right there.
Yeah, I don't know.
For sure.
I like Woods and Kupp are really good, but I don't think this is a great receiving core. I think it's good.
I think it's real good.
Yeah.
And I think that the type of offense that they've been running can be expanded with Stafford rather than retracted a little bit because of
Goff.
Goff.
That's the thing I don't know, Dave, because I think the type of offense that they run, it's getting the quarterback out in space. And now you're bringing a 33-year-old guy in there that's been beat up to do that.
That's my other point.
McVay's going to have to adjust some things.
Upgrade.
I know, but this is done because they couldn't trust Goff. They could not trust Jared Goff.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't know who I was listening to the other day, but somebody was talking about how what Walford was doing for them. I know it was Greg Olson on Colin Cowherd show. Greg Olson was talking about what Walford brought to the table for them that he felt McVay was looking for was a much more mobile quarterback and a guy that can, when he gets out of the pocket, is not just looking to throw, is actually looking to run when the space is available. And we saw Goff time and time again down the stretch, especially in that playoff game. He had open lanes to run, and he didn't. And that's kind of been his MO, is that, he's looking to throw, which most coaches would covet. But it doesn't seem like McVay necessarily wants that. Now he's got a guy that's a pure pocket passer. Obviously if Stafford can move, he may move better than Goff. But I don't think he's going to do the type of things that what McVay's offense in its current structure necessarily boasts. Now, obviously Stafford changes the dynamic of what they can do throwing the ball because he's a much better passer.
Yes.
We'll see how McVay adjusts to that. But, all we've seen is McVay with Goff, and, we'll have to see how the offense gets tailored around a much more proven quarterback.
I think he can certainly create an offense where he doesn't need a quarterback who's running all over the place, and he can lean on Stafford's arm a little bit more to attack downfield. I think this is going to be very good for Woods and Kupp.
Okay, and this is kind of interesting, actually. Believe it or not, Jared Goff averaged more fantasy points per game than Matthew Stafford in 2020. Big reason for that, though, he had 4 rushing touchdowns and fewer rushing yards than Stafford. These guys don't rush. They have 100 yards a year or something like that. But he did end up with 4 rushing touchdowns, which is fluky. None for Matthew Stafford. But the passing numbers were certainly better for Stafford. The Rams offense, I think maybe the reason why I don't buy them as much as you guys do is their offense has been getting worse the last 2 years. I talked about this on the Thursday show, and maybe this is just because of Jared Goff and his regression. But they went from the best offense in football to the 3rd best last year. They were, I'll look it up. They were somewhere around, they were 20. Where are you? Stat? No, points per game. They scored 23.25 points per game last year. 2 years ago, 32.9. Oh, they were 22nd. All right, sorry. They've gone from second to first to second to 11th to 22nd. There we go.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. So, all right. Hopefully this helps.
Congratulations, Detroit.
Now let's say that Kenny Golladay is back with Detroit.
No, please no.
Who is the best wide receiver now when you look at these two teams for fantasy? Golladay, Kupp, Woods. How would you rank them, Dave?
Woods. I think I got to go Woods, Kupp, Golladay. I'm nervous about Golladay catching passes from Goff or a rookie not named Trevor Lawrence, which is going to be the case.
Jamie?
Golladay, Woods, Kupp. I mean, it's easy to sit here and crap on Jared Goff. He made Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp pretty good fantasy receivers, and they're going to probably be chasing points. He's going to have to throw. we've never seen Jared Goff in a different offense. So Jared Goff may be a capable fantasy quarterback, a better fantasy quarterback. Forced into some situations, going to throw. Galladay's the best talent of these three. And so I'll take my chances with the best talent going into a situation where he may not have Marvin Jones opposite him. He's still going to have TJ Hawkinson, but targets are definitely going to be in his favor. So I'll take my chances with Golladay. They're all going to be close. They're all going to be number 2 receivers, but I think the upside still favors Golladay.
Okay. I just want to look up one thing here because we're doing this, right after the news broke. I just want to see the difference in pass attempts for the two teams. Let's take a look. So the Rams.
You almost have to throw out everything with the Lions, though, because they have a new coaching staff in place.
Okay. Well, the Rams were 12th at 5. The Rams were 12th. The Lions were 13th. They had almost the same amount of pass attempts, 8 more for the Rams this year. All right. Any final thoughts? How about DeAndre Swift? Does this change anything for him? We were excited about him in a new offense with Anthony Lynn, where his running backs always catch a lot of balls.
And Deuce Staley. Don't forget about that.
No,
it's huge. It's big. Swift is still going to be a very popular fantasy running back because of the coaches that are there. And certainly Jared Goff can lean on that run game a little bit and certainly dump off to Swift. I think this is good for Hawkinson too. You look at when Jared Goff had his big games over the last 2 seasons, Higbee was a big part of that. So Hawkinson will probably be there. And if Golladay is somehow out of the picture, then the targets are just going to be ridiculous for Hawkinson in that case.
Yeah, that goes back to when we did the tight end show, Adam. Remember? The tight ends that seemed to be the best were the ones that didn't have any competition. And Hawkinson would certainly fall into that category.
Yeah, Marvin Jones could move on. Galladay could move on. This could be great for Hawkinson.
I wonder, though, if they could afford Golladay now to franchise tag him. Because
we know how much of the contract of Goff's contract the Lions are going to actually have to pay? Are they paying the whole thing? Because that would make sense.
I haven't seen it yet.
Because they're getting 2 firsts. I actually think the Lions got a bad deal on this.
They got a bad deal on this?
I think this is a bad deal for the Lions.
What?
Those first-round picks
are not going to be for a 33-year-old quarterback? What?
They're going to be late first-round picks. The Rams are going to be better for it, and they've got to pay Jared Goff for the next year plus.
Oh, this is a great deal for them.
All right.
This is a great deal for them.
We'll see how this does for the Lions franchise. It keeps the Rams certainly in the Super Bowl conversation. Like you said, the Lions aren't going to be anywhere near the Super Bowl for the next couple of years.
No, but this,
of course, they haven't been near the Super Bowl for like
I think it's great
years.
Because you can always, now you can package your first.
Right.
Now you can move up.
This is a great deal for them.
By the way, Hawkinson averaged, he was on pace for 552 yards with Golladay and 780 yards without Golladay. So that's a big difference there. We talked about that on Tuesday. The Ram. Okay. So we were talking about the deal. There's one other aspect I wanted to bring up here that I have, that I am blanking on. So don't worry about it. All right. I think that's it. No, it was really interesting what I was planning on saying, but got sidetracked there. It'll come to me like right after we're done. Twitter poll update. Are the Rams a legit Super Bowl contender next season with Matthew Stafford? About 2/3 of the votes so far. I just posted this when we had the conversation. Say yes. 65.3%. Yes, the Rams are a legit Super Bowl contender. Oh, that's the thing. How much does Stafford have left? I want to remind everybody, he played 16 games, but it was not easy. He left on the opening drive in one of them. He was beat up. I mean, this is 3 years in a row. This guy has really taken a beating. And that's why I think it was a little risky to give up 2 first-round picks for Stafford. But they're going for it. They always do.
Keep him upright, Adam. He's going to be great for them.
All right. That is it for this emergency bonus podcast of Fantasy Football today. Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate it. Have a great weekend. We will talk to you Sunday night on FFT and 5. We will talk to you more about this trade on the Monday episode of Fantasy Football Today. Jamie will enjoy Tampa. Dave will enjoy South Florida, and I will enjoy the rest of John Wick. See you later.
Want more of the Fantasy Football Today podcast and nonstop year-round fantasy advice? It's simple. Hit the subscribe button and hang with us all throughout the year.